Let's drive home to you, baby. I'm faded. All I wanna do is take you downtown, baby. I'm wasted. All I wanna do is drive home to you, baby. I'm faded. All I wanna do is take you downtown, baby. All right, here we go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Get this mic together here. All right, here we go. How's everybody doing out there? You know where you're at. You're exactly where you need to be. Grab that water from me. How's our bars looking? We got good sound? Good sound? Too shiny. Move this out of the way here. All right, guys. So how's everybody doing tonight? Hope you guys are doing good. I know we have some people just tuning in, and I am super excited to be here with you guys tonight. We're actually broadcasting from our downtown Channel District location. We're here in the beautiful downtown Tampa, here at the beautiful Grand Central Building Development, the Salon 1.0 in the Channel Side area. I am your host, Sunny D. I'm here. I'm ready to deliver. 10 o'clock. Beautiful time, beautiful channel, and we're ready to roll. So, how's everybody doing out there? You're now rolling with the D. It is October 27th, 2014. I'm your host, Sunny D. Excited to share some information with you guys tonight. Excited to have you joining us. If you're just tuning in, welcome. I will be broadcasting and simultaneously responding to your comments, responding to your questions. Got a great show for you guys tonight. Definitely some good information. You're going to want to have some note-taking materials ready. Had an incredible weekend. Was up in Atlanta. So I thank you guys if you did tune in when I was broadcasting live on the road from Atlanta. I appreciate everybody that was on there. I appreciate you bearing with us while we were working out some technical difficulties. It was a little tricky, not gonna lie. A little tricky on the road. You know, we had our Thursday night show. We were actually behind in traffic, so we ended up broadcasting from the moving vehicle. So you were literally, that's kind of the roots of Rolling with the D. We started the show on the road. I started it in a car doing these 2-minute clips, these 2-minute videos, and I was storing them on YouTube, so I had a place to archive them, you know, and I wasn't keeping them on my device, on my phone. And you can share on YouTube. You can make things private, you can make it unlisted, or you can make it public. And by accident, I made one of them public, and somebody stumbled upon it and hit me up. It was like, hey, I found this video on YouTube that you did. It was inspiring, it was motivating, I learned a few things. Do you have any more? And I was like, actually, I do. I've got about 70 of these videos. And they asked me to start sharing them, and that one kind of leaked out, but that was the beginning of something. And going from the car, where Rolling with the D, literally a show on wheels, now we've evolved into a live studio show. We come on the air for about an hour, 5 days a week, and right now we're broadcasting Monday through Friday at 10 p.m. We broadcast from Studio 1.0, which is here in Tampa, Florida. We also broadcast on location, like tonight. So tonight we were at an event at our downtown location in Tampa and decided, we're going to go ahead and do the broadcast right here because we were running right up to the wall, and I did not want to disappoint, did not want to let you guys down. So I wanted to make sure we were here for you. So we jumped on, and here we are, ready to rock and roll. So this weekend I was at an amazing training, surrounded by about 800 entrepreneurs that are independent Market America, Shop.com distributors. We call ourselves on-franchise owners. So the entire weekend, Thursday night got into Atlanta, had training Friday night, Saturday all day, and then most of the day on Sunday, learning about just growing
yourself as an entrepreneur, really talking a lot about entrepreneurism, being an independent distributor for Market America, which I've been doing for the past few years. It's been awesome because it's given me something that I want to speak to you guys tonight about, which is, and I think it's the lifeblood of survival in any economy. Things will dry up. And what I want to talk to you guys tonight about is a lot about diversifying, and something that I refer to all the time when I'm talking to a different business owner. I always ask, what kind of diversity do you have? What does your portfolio look like? Multiple flows of income, MFI. And we're going to talk about that tonight because I think that's one of the things that people don't always consider. They don't consider what if. And as an entrepreneur, if you think about the definition of an entrepreneur, someone who's willing to make a calculated risk for potential gain, and sometimes it's unforeseeable and it's into the unknown, that creates a system or develops a business. And then that risk that you're taking, like for example, if you go to school to become a chiropractor, you go to school and your risk is gonna be your tuition that you pay. If you go to school, in our industry, I'm in the beauty industry, it's hair school or a makeup school or an esthetician school. So that risk, that initial risk that you're taking, it's financial risk. Unforeseeable what the outcome is going to be, because you're not guaranteed when you go to school, you're not guaranteed to make a great living. You're not even guaranteed to make a living in your chosen field. I know many, many people that have went to beauty school, the best beauty schools in the country, and you follow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years later, they're no longer practicing. They're no longer even in the industry at all. And that could happen to any one of us at any time, provided we look at industries as singular sectors and not look at the economy as cyclical, because the economy goes through cycles. There's ups and there's downs. So if you have found your passion, like I was fortunate, at the age of 25 going on 26 years old, to have stumbled into the beauty industry. And I say literally, the beauty industry found me because I was working behind a bar, and I had a group of guys come in, and they were hairdressers, and they looked really awesome. They were in all black, looking like a rock star, like a rock band, like a Maroon 5 or something. So when they came in, I was just like, man, these guys look cool. What do you guys do? Are you like artists, musicians? They're like, we're hairstylists. And they kind of recruited me, and I spent a couple days working at a hair show with them, and after that, a light bulb went off. I had that moment, that billionth of a volt just kind of snapped, and I saw my future in a weekend. I saw it in an instant, and I quit my job, and I moved to Florida and went to this hair school, Paul Mitchell School in Orlando, and the rest, as they say, is history, or as I like to say, is his story. So that's what I discovered was the industry. But inside of your industry, you have to start to peel back. And when I started this show, Rolling with the D, and decided to take it live in the studio, that was with the objective of what I call hacking the Bob. Hacking the Bob, which Bob stands for the business of beauty. And I want to hack the business of beauty, because when I look at the industry that I'm in, I look at it not as a singular sector. And I tapped into multiple flows. And that's no matter what industry you're in. If you're in the salon industry, if you're in, I don't care what it is, if you're in computers, if you're in cars, you have to start thinking about what other areas around it. So if you take my industry, for example, in beauty, in our salon, like our main product, the product that we sell more of, anything else that we sell is a haircut. So as I started out in my field, I wanted to become known as a great hair cutter, and that was my first beginnings of my career path. And I set my eyes on learning everything I could about cutting hair. I wanted to know everything and got involved in the platform teams and the advanced education teams for our companies, everything I could. But as I started to look at the business, I realized, well, what if? I started to do the what if. What if I was injured, right? What if I wasn't able to cut hair? Would my income stop? And as I started, the reality was scary, because if I didn't cut hair, I didn't make any money. And to me, that was quite scary, because I was thinking to myself, well, what else can you do? So then I started to look around my industry. Well, there was hair color. And then I started to look further, and I started to tap into what other sources or flows of income are there around my main talent, or around my main technical ability or product. What else is around there? Whether it be, I started to look into educating, and then from educating, I started to look into other opportunities, ownership of a business, within a business, diversifying, and I started to add other flows. Now, they don't all start as gushers. And when you think about multiple flows of income, some of them may be cross-sector. Like today, for example, what we did here tonight was another part of our business we have, which is this beautiful display here. We have Motives Cosmetics by Lauren Reidinger, which is one of the products that we're able to distribute. Now, I want to show you the layers of this so you can kind of see the dynamic of what we're doing here, to give you some of my own just kind of personal approach. So you have the business as a whole. It's the salon. That's what we have here, the Salon 1.0. So it produces haircuts. That's a flow of income. Hair colors, that's a flow of income. Conditioning treatments, blow dries, all of those things related to hair. Then I started to look at, okay, how can I diversify myself? So when I found Market America, it was a great opportunity for me, because it didn't just tap me into one more source of income, which was the Motives Cosmetics. It also opened me up into other sectors, other divisions, from Motives Cosmetics to skincare to health and nutrition. So they were an umbrella that had all of these different trickles. So for me as a busy entrepreneur, I could have just gone after makeup, but I found a company that had lots of trickles in all of the industries that they brokered products for, that gave me access to, are all billion-dollar markets. So I got access to makeup, I got access to skincare, I got access to health and nutrition, I got access to the TLS, which is a weight loss solution. I got access to home and garden and household care products, billion-dollar industries. I got access to all of them. So that was me thinking, okay, how do I diversify my income? Within our own salon company, we have one location. Why does someone open a second location? Not because they want another headache. The reason that they open a second location is because they want another flow of income. So if you don't have, say, you don't have a brick and mortar. Maybe you don't. You don't have a brick and mortar. Maybe you're an online business. Maybe you're door-to-door. I want you to start thinking about how many products and services are you able to offer? Are you what they call in the music industry, right? You've heard it, one-hit wonder. Even in Hollywood, a lot of guys or, some of the young stars, they could only play one part, or they became known for that one thing and they could never shake it, no matter what. Steve Urkel is Steve Urkel, right? If you guys remember him, no matter what. Look what happened with Miley. She was Hannah Montana. She had to go berserk to shake that so she could diversify. Because believe it or not, the products and services that you're using today are going to change. It's just inevitable. With technology, with taste, with season, with all of the advancements that are happening, whatever sector you're in, even in hair. Like you think, well, people are always going to have to get a haircut. That's true. people are always going to have to get a haircut, but they're not always going to have to get a haircut from us. So we're always looking at, okay, how do we diversify? So from hair cutting, my primary business, to then becoming a makeup and a beauty cosmetic entrepreneur, another source of income, to expand share of customer. And one of the businesses that's really good at this, I don't know who you bank with, but I want you to think about your bank right now. I want you to think about when you signed up, when you joined that bank, or when you opened your account, what did they tell you? It probably went like this, it started with what? A checking account. So they offered you a checking account, and then from there, what else did they offer? Next thing they probably offered you was, say, a savings account. And then what do they offer? Next thing they go into is probably going to be either a credit card or maybe a line of credit. They're thinking multiple flows of income, because from that checking account, you have one flow of income. Even if you think it's free checking, right? So you're like, oh, I got free checking. Well, that's okay. They got you with free checking. So then it's savings. So then maybe there's no fees on that account. But now they've got you with 2 products. And then they look at, what's the next product? Let's do a third product. And they work on getting you into the third product. And the third product, what might that be? Maybe that third product is, say, a credit card. Maybe the third product is a line of credit. Maybe it's a home loan. Maybe it's a small business loan. Because they're trained. And what they know is that they need to tap into multiple sources, even though they're not making any money on the checking account or the savings account. They understand the concept of MFI, multiple flows of income. Or some people call it sources, MSI, multiple sources of income, whatever you're comfortable with. But I want you guys to start thinking about that. Because whatever industry you're in, some people are like, well, my industry is recession proof. You still want to be able to diversify. You don't want to become, oh, we used to have that, or we used to be that, or do you remember when? You don't want to be one of those. You don't want to end up, I'm telling you guys, I don't want to see you on VH1, where are they now? Right? Where are they now? Remember them? They were so good. They were so good, but they're not relevant anymore. Because they weren't able to, tap into multiple source. Now, here's what I want you guys to think about. We're going to talk about a few different things. Number one, the multiple flows of income. Why you need multiple flows. Now, here's the first thing I want you to think about. What if? And as an entrepreneur, as an optimist, what if? What if tomorrow, the job, if you're working a job, what if tomorrow the job that you have is no longer there? What if you went to work and you tried to open the door and they were closed? They closed their doors. What would you do? What if, say you have a brick and mortar business like I do. We live in the hurricane state. Maybe you live in California, or you're in the California. What do they have over there? Oh yeah, earthquakes. What if a hurricane came through, wiped out my location? What if an earthquake happened? Earthquake wiped out your location. Multiple flows of income. So currently, as I look at our business and we're expanding to look at 1 location, 2 locations, 3 locations, 4 locations. Why? Because we want multiple flows. And the cool thing, with our industry and, with our team personally, it's kind of cool because we have hairstylists that work in more than 1 location, and they're able to build different kinds of businesses. They're able to secure different incomes, to tap into different markets. So that's a big part of, ingraining that into your culture. But maybe if you don't have a team, this hacking the Bob, I want you to think about you. How are you going to diversify you? Maybe there's a skill that you need to work on. Maybe there's a skill you need to learn. Now, there's always going to be the primary. First thing I want you guys to do as you're thinking about the primary needs to be, your number one flow needs to have first position, first attention. Because I've seen it happen, when I look at, myself as I was growing into my own as a hairstylist, my primary flow of income was doing hair behind the chair. And then, you could start to get distracted. And you get, the shiny thing. And then before you know it, you're in a little rabbit hole. Now, what I want you to think about is your primary gets all of your focus and your attention. Primary gets first focus. Primary gets first focus. Before you start thinking about the second, third flow, how many flows? That's going to be entirely up to you. But before you start thinking about number 2, 3, and 4, primary gets focused. So what did I have to do? I had to become phenomenal at my first flow, my first primary thing, which was working behind the chair, servicing a customer. Then my second flow, as I started to build into that, then I started to attend to the second flow. So the first thing I want you to do is get great at something. If you're a hair cutter right now, be the best hair cutter you can be. If you call yourself a colorist, if you're a hair colorist, be the best hair colorist you can be. Whatever position that you find yourself in, if you're the owner, then you're going to become the best owner you can be. If you're sweeping the floor at a place, you become the best damn floor sweeper they've ever seen in their life. I don't care what it is, because you have a primary. Right now, there's something that you do that's your primary source of income. You need to become great at that. Before you start thinking about going over here, doing this and that, I want you to develop the multiple flows, but I want you to work it in a sequence. So number 1, what is your primary? So whatever that is, I want you to write that down. I'm a hairstylist. So what does that mean? I'm cutting, I'm coloring, and I'm styling hair. Become great at that. Now within that, if I were to break that down further, like with me, as I was sharing, I started as the hair cutter. So I became great at the haircut. Then I started to get into color. I still did color, but I started my focus. So remember, Friday night show is all about mindset, the laws of the mind, the focus. So my entire focus was on being the best cutter. Then I started, once I felt like I had a really good grip on that, then I started really working my color game. And then I started really working that into that style game. So you got to decide first on what is your primary? What's the thing that you do that's generating the most income? Now, I want to say that, but I also want to say this. For some, it might not be what you're most passionate about, but it's paying the bills, and it's putting the butter on the bread. And that's your primary. And it may not be what your long-term vision for you is. It might be a temporary pit stop, but it might be your bread and butter. Maybe that second or third thing that you've been kind of dabbling in that's made you a couple dollars here or there, maybe that's your goal. So I'm not saying that whatever your primary is it indefinitely going to be that? No, but I want you to get great. The challenge that I see a lot of people have is they don't get great at something before they move on. So they're like, I'm pretty good at this, and then they switch. And then you see them they're pretty good at that, and then they switch something. And then they get pretty good at that, but they never get great at something. So what is your primary? And if it's not what you hope it to be in the future, it's okay. What is your primary? Get great at that. That's number 1. That's the first thing. Let me know what your primary is. So I see a few people there in the stream. Thanks for joining us. And if you want to share your primary in there, and maybe I can give you, because I know I have hairstylists that are watching. I have some of the other network marketers that I know that are watching. Who else is out there? Some people that are thinking about becoming hairstylists. Thank you for watching. So if you want to put your primary, what is your primary? And remember, your primary doesn't necessarily mean it's going to stay your primary. Now, from that, From that, I want you to start to think about, what are the other opportunities around my primary? What are the opportunities around my main focus? So we'll take somebody, say you're a writer. You know, writers, what is their primary? Their primary is writing, right? Their primary is writing books. Now, if you take that book, how do they make money? They write a book one time, they sell it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. But what's next? What's after that? So the primary starts, number one, with you identifying what it is, getting great at it. Number two, I want you to think about the things that could be connected. So for example, that writer. What could a writer do besides write the book? They're only writing the one book. They wrote a great book. Well, let's see. Maybe there's speaking engagements that are attached to that. What else could they do besides the speaking engagements? Maybe there's... What else? Think, guys. I want you to think. I see your wheels turning. Speaking engagements. Maybe there's a movie that could be produced after that. Maybe there's, if it's a specialty or a subject, maybe there's a coaching or a training that can be led into after that. Maybe there's a blog that can be created from that. Maybe there's an online forum that can be created. So as you start to look around that main thing, which is their writing, once they're done writing the book, that's their first flow. It doesn't stop there. You have to start thinking what's next. And if you start to put those in the order, you know, you're looking at the MFI, or multiple flows of income. And that's what I want you guys to start thinking about. What is the next flow? What is the next flow for you? So what is your primary? What are your primaries? If you guys are in the stream right now, I want you to share your primary, because I want to be able to make this a little bit more interactive, so I can give you, maybe, if you're sometimes having a little bit of an outside perspective, you know, looking at it from the outside, maybe I can give you an idea of what might be other flows after your primary that you might be able to tap into, because you don't want it to dry up. And I've been there, you know, when I was a great hair cutter, and it was like, if I didn't cut hair, I didn't make money. And I'm like watching everybody do, you know, I want to, like, how do I do that? Like, I don't paint faces, but I want to know as much about, you know, makeup as possible, because people with hair, guess what they do? They have also a face. Guess what else they have? They do things to their hair. So I'm starting to think of, what other products and services can I build around my main flow? So I want to know, what's some of your main flows? Let's see, I've got some people on the stream here. Okay, let's see, technical writer. So the DoD, is that the Department of Defense? Okay, I think that might be. Let's see. What else we have on there? I've got hairstylists on here. What else? I've got a teacher on here. Okay, cool. What else? Just kind of looking through here, seeing who we got. Wow, we got a lot of people outside. Not that many people in the beauty industry. I see a computer programmer. Cool. Okay, a dancer. Okay, cool. Now a dancer, you know, a dancer, now this is the thing you have to think about. I'm gonna tackle that one real quick. So if you're a dancer, I want you to think about this. Whatever kind of, I'm not sure what kind of dancing you do, but say it's ballroom dancing. So now you start to think, okay, I'm a ballroom dancer. Now, do you instruct? Now, you have to think about you as a person, you as the individual doing the work. When you stop working, when you stop dancing, you stop making moves, then you're not going to get paid. So what I want you to think about is, could you, dancer, could you create, say, a 30-minute video that becomes a online product that you could then offer to people that are interested in ballroom dancing? That could be one source. Could you start writing a blog? You know, the top 10 ballroom dancing, tips. How to train your second left foot. I don't know exactly what it is, but I want you to start thinking about that. So now your main gig, you're great at ballroom dancing. Now you add that second flow that becomes your DVD, a 30-minute DVD. Or maybe you're not going to produce a DVD. Maybe you're like, well, I don't really have a budget, produce a DVD. Could you set up shop? I mean, nowadays with technology, could you set up shop and then move into an online YouTube tutorial? Start a series of videos, maybe they're 2 or 3 minutes, on Ballroom Dancing 101. Could you create a YouTube channel? And these ones that I'm talking about, these are free. These are free things. So that's just a couple flows. Then maybe you're going to start putting together workshops and seminars. That's another area that you could tap into. So just giving you guys some ideas that you can maybe take and incorporate into your primary flow. So as a technical writer, I'm not sure what it is exactly that, it's Department of Defense, so it might be kind of private. I don't have code, the 5th level of security clearance, so maybe you can't get specific. But writing, it sounds like that writing is something that's in the primary's responsibility. So what else? Is there something inside of that writing that you could do? If that's what it is, a technical writer, who do you know? Who else does that? Who else could you create a product or service, or could it be a blog that you were going to create that you could start to build in a base of potential customers? Could it be a tutorial, or could it be you're a writer? I don't know if it's actually code writing or if it's actually literary. Is that a word? Literary, or like literally writing. But what else could you build around that? I want you to think about, what else is there? What else is there around that? Now, maybe that's your primary, and maybe I'm totally off the topic of that. Maybe it's not actual writing, maybe it is code. But that with that skill, that's your primary. Now, here's the other thing I want you to think about is you guys are out there. If you're employed, then you have either your manager, your direct reports, whoever you report to. Use them as a resource too. I have stylists that are here, and we have like a career path. So they want to know, like people want to know, okay, now I'm doing this now, but where am I going to be able to be in 6 months? Where am I going to be able to be in 1 year? What does your career path look like? Go to the decision maker. Sometimes it's asking the boss, hey, how do I make more money at this? Where else is there money in this company? What else can I do that can generate revenue? Like we have stylists right now that are doing hair, but they're also looking at becoming a makeup artist or doing makeup because they want to be able to tap into more revenue. They want to be able to tap into more products and services. So there might be an opportunity there for you to reach out to those direct reports depending on what you're in. Now I see the other computer programmer, like there's a computer programmer on here. So here's what I want you to think about. What else do people, especially if you're a specialist, there's people out there right now that they've started, maybe they're sewing, little sweaters for their poodle. That was their passion and their love, and they started doing, and they started selling them at the local market. And then they took that and they started writing a blog. And then it turned into, there's a lady, she started to have classes, on cutting out the fabric. She started putting together like these step-by-step tutorials and built a business around that. But just thinking, what else do people need, or what else do people do that has to do with your niche? So I'll go back to haircutting again. It was the haircutting, then it was teaching the haircutting, then it was creating a step-by-step or a tutorial, then maybe it turned into a smaller workshop or an online, where you could, I mean, just like we're doing now, you could stream something online, a tutorial. And if you don't want to get in front of the camera, you could actually stream your computer screen, you know, and you can show screenshots, and you can just be the voice behind it. You know, so looking at what's around it. So that's the next thing I want you to do. Know what your primary is. Now I want to touch on, what if, you know, here's the deal, Sonny. Like, this is what I'm doing. It's you know, it pays the bills. But it's not my passion. You know, my passion, it's not what I really want to do. It's just kind of what I have to do. And what I really want to do is X. So this is where I want you to start thinking, okay, how do I got to get great at this thing that I don't really want to do? Is that what you're telling me? I'm not saying like pour all of your energy and your heart into this, because if that's not what you love, you're probably not going to, eventually you'll phase out of it. But the win, you need that win at being, you want to be great at that one thing, because once you learn how to get great at something, translating that greatness is just a matter of, okay, now I know how to get great at this. What did it take me to get great at doing this? Well, it took me practicing it this many hours a day. It took me reading all this material, this many books on the subject. How did you get great at that? Whatever that is. Because that alone in itself is a skill that you're going to take, and you're going to translate that into whatever that passionate thing that you have is. So that's, you getting great at that isn't because you love it. It's because you're learning the skill that it takes. You're skilling up. You're learning the skill that it takes to get great at that one thing. So who else is on here? I need some more primaries. I want to talk about maybe where else the money can be, because we got to find the money around it. The multiple flows has to do with having another flow of income. And that's what we're talking about tonight on Rolling with the D. Let's see. I see. So we talked about the dancing. We talked about the computer programming. And I'm not a computer programmer, but I know that there's got to be in that niche. I know that there's people that are probably online, reading blogs, looking for tutorials, looking for someone to teach. You know, maybe what you have, or what your skill is, your primary, maybe you're a trainer. You know, if you're able to deliver that message or deliver that information in a compelling way and people understand how so maybe there's training that's involved in that. You know, and some of the things that, you know, that I do as I look around my industry, I look for other potential possibilities, but some of them are like little drips, drip. But what will the leaky faucet do? It'll still fill up the bucket, right? So it might not be a gusher. You know, it's not just going to come in and take over your primary, but it might be a little drip, and then all of a sudden it starts to pick up momentum. So as you're looking around your industry, I want you to think, okay, what are some of those little drips that I can start creating? Because that's what multiple flows are about. Now, the next thing I want to move into, I want to talk about completely moving from, so now you're in singular sector, you're discovering what it is that's your primary, you're getting great at that, the material, the information you need. Now I want to start talking about, what about the other sectors? So now is where you get to play. Now is where you get to say, okay, anything you want, anything you would want to do besides the industry that you're in. Now this is where you can go non-industry. Besides the industry that you're in. So if you're in the cosmetic industry, maybe you wanted to get into the film industry, or you wanted to get into the food industry. You wanted to get into the fashion industry. Maybe some of them could run parallel, but maybe it's a totally different industry. Now is where you can start to think outside the box and start to think outside of your particular sector. Now, when you think about that, remember, 80-90% of your time is going to be getting great at your primary. With that extra time that you're that leftover time, that 10%, start crafting what the position looks like in that industry. What is it that you would be interested in doing in that other industry that you're starting to think about? You know, if you could jump, if you could replace the income that you have right now, same amount, but doing what? What would it be? What industry would it be? What would your role be? What would it be if you could literally just replace your income right now? So say right now you're laying bricks and you're making, $30,000 a year. And you could, today, if I had a magic wand and I said, okay, now you're going to still make your, $30,000 a year, but what do you want to be doing? So I want to be, cooking. What would that be? Because this is where you need to dedicate some of your time and starting to think about that. Because you already we've identified, what the primary is. Now I want to start moving away from the primary, and I want you to start thinking. This is where you get to dream a little bit. So maybe it's just closing your eyes for a minute, but most of you probably already know. Because I know, like, when I found hair, it was almost like I was cutting my own hair when I was 11 years old. I've always cut hair. When I was in the military, I cut everybody's hair at the barracks. It was inside of me. It's just like it was there the whole time. So what's it going to take for you to find it? So some of you might already know. And if you want to put that in the stream, I'd be more than happy to give you a high five and hit the like on that comment. What is it? If you could replace the income you have, you're not going to take a dip in income at all. You could literally just wake up tomorrow and be doing this. What would you be doing? Because now with that extra 10 or 15% of your time, that's where I want you to start putting some of your attention. I want you to start giving yourself, rewarding yourself that extra 10 or 15 minutes to start putting some attention on that. Because that might be the next sector that you're going to get into. For me as a hairstylist, becoming a salon owner has nothing to do with haircutting. So I started to give myself, okay, I'm really trying to be great at cutting hair, but I'm really kind of digging this idea of, being a salon owner, helping create jobs, helping change the direction of people's future, creating this career path. Really had nothing to do with hair, but I started allocating just small chunks of time to learning about owning a business, to learning about operating a business, to learning about creating a career path, to learning about leadership, to learning about motivating and stimulating other people. And I slowly started to learn more and more about it. First thing is to find out if I really wanted to do it. Because you might like the idea of doing something, but then when you start getting involved in it, you're like, well, actually, I don't really like it. I thought this was going to be the thing. I thought this was going to be what I like. But I don't really like it. So I want you to think about, what would that be? If you woke up tomorrow and you were making the same amount of money you're making today, but you could be doing whatever you want, what would that be? Write that down. Do me a favor and write that down. And I want you to start taking, if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day, just thinking about what it would take. Now, if it required you going to school, nowadays, it could be on online. You might be studying it up on YouTube for all I know. You might be on Ustream TV watching somebody, teach, or watching somebody do the thing that you want to do, teach you how to do it. So what would it be? What would that thing be? So I want you to start formulating that, and I want you to start giving yourself time. Thing that you really want to do, the only thing that's stopping us, right? The only thing is the time that I'm dedicating my focus to that thing. You're going to start small though. You're going to start small. So maybe it's 10, 15 minutes a day. Then as you start to gain more skill, gain more knowledge, with knowledge is going to come more confidence. As you become more confident, then maybe you're going to go and you're going to try that thing. Maybe it's going to start very small. Maybe it's going to be, turn in from 15 minutes, 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, 1 day a week. 1 day a week. You have to try that thing on. And then before you know it, it becomes 2 days a week. And then before you know it, it's 3 days a week. And then before you know it, it's competing with what you're already doing. And so now you're contemplating, what's the next level? Do I go full time? Do I make the leap? But you have to start just identifying what that thing is. So now you're at this point. So you know what your primary is. You know what you have to get great at. You're looking at, what are the things around that could possibly tap into other sources of income. If you're working for somebody, you go to the decision maker, say, hey, how do I make more money at this? What else can I do? Start thinking about some of those ideas we talked about. Next thing you're going to start doing is thinking about what other sectors are you interested in. Find the thing that you're most excited about. If you could trade in your income, find that thing, write it down. Now you got to start dedicating some time to that thing. Give it 15, 20 minutes a week. Find the experts in that area. Maybe it's candlestick making. I don't know what it is. But you find the candlestick makers. Find the candlestick maker, the best candlestick maker there is, and start reading up on them. Start looking for videos. Start looking for a blog on that. I'm not saying, no one said candlestick maker, but I'm just saying maybe that's your passion. So now you're at this point where you've discovered that, and then it starts competing with your main flow. But sometimes, what I found is, being open, just having an open mind, being open to the possibility or the potential, and being patient. So open and patient is going to take, those are kind of some of the ingredients when you're trying to discover where the other flows are. I've launched products, I've released products, I've started companies where it takes time. There's that phase where it's like, okay, if you are going to see this produce revenue, it's going to take X amount of time. So you have to have the patience, but you have to be committed to it. You have to be open-minded too, because trust me, when I started working with makeup, I was not thinking like, okay, you're selling haircuts, now you're selling, now you have the salon, now you're going to be doing them. I didn't think I was going to get into the business. But what I did like was the idea that, it gave me another flow, gave me a little flow that I was able to generate some additional income from. So I had to be open-minded for that. And I have to be patient. I have to be patient to implement it. So you're going to need to be patient as well. So I want you to be thinking about these things, because multiple flows of income is how you prevent you from becoming extinct. And that's really, I think, the main message that I want you to take away from tonight is, how do I not become extinct? How do I not become, or how do I prevent being a part of a conversation to where, oh, do you remember so and so? Or if you're not already skilling up, if you're not already thinking about that passion and starting to learn about it. Because we get comfortable, don't we? It's like Groundhog Day. You start doing the same thing every single day. Monotony sets in. You become like a hamster on a treadmill. You're bored out of your gourd. You're ready to throw in the towel. And then before you even get to throw in the towel, the rug gets pulled from underneath you. And you had no other sources. You had no other outs. You don't want to end up in that position. We've seen so many people in the last, 4 or 5 years that had put all of their faith, all of their trust, all of their hope in this one flow of income, and industries literally went away. You guys remember Blockbuster Video? What happened to Blockbuster Video? They got swept away because they didn't diversify. They had one flow, they had one trick. Come and rent a VHS tape and take it home and watch it and bring it back. What happened to them diversifying if they ever thought? Whoever thought they would go away, they never thought that. And then companies like Netflix came along and said, we're going to stream videos to people on their computer. And what do you think will happen to Netflix if they don't diversify and start to think of multiple flows of income? They will go away. You will go away. I will go away. If we don't start thinking about multiple flows of income, we can become extinct. I'm in the hair cutting business. Hair hopefully will continue to grow. But that doesn't make me sleep any better at night. It's like the person that's in the toilet paper business. Oh, people are always going to need to wipe their behind. But do you think they're going to rest on their laurels? What do? They're always trying to figure out a way to make it softer, 2-ply, quilted, new technology. I mean, how many times have you seen toilet paper companies try to diversify, expand, get into other markets, realize they don't want to be extinct? Yeah, people are going to keep wiping their butt, but it doesn't mean that they're just going to use your same old boring product with no other offerings to come with it that hasn't changed since the leaf was a toilet paper. So I want you guys to be thinking about this. I want this to keep you up at night. I want you to think, what other sources of income do I have? What other skills do I have? What other skills do I need? In my current job, what are the different opportunities to make money? Where's the different sectors? I hate my current job. What else can I do? What else do I want to do? How do people make money at that? Is it something I could start part-time? Is it something that I can start to weave in to my schedule? What am I great at? Because a lot of times it's like, try this, try this, try that, try that. We're trying so many things, but what am I great at? What skill do I have? What's my first win at being great at something? And then what am I going to start giving that 15% time to? Today's economy, it's not fair. It's not unfair. It's simply one thing. It's brutal. It is brutal. So I want you guys that are part of Rolling with the D, you guys are hanging out with me. You're coming, to the show. I want you to be thinking about these things. And I mean, if you're a stylist, if you're a salon owner, if you're not even in the beauty industry, you're on planet Earth, you're listening to this show. We're hacking the business of beauty, but we're hacking a lot more than just that. We're hacking the outer layers of you. We're hacking how are you going to diversify so you don't become like the 8-track tape, like the typewriter. What happened to them? What happened to the 8-track tape? What happened to the CD player? What happened to Sony's Walkman? No diversification. Didn't start thinking, what else could we do? What's next for me? These are huge companies that they thought they were there forever. What about you? Do you think you're here forever? Do you think the position that you have right now is guaranteed and it's not going anywhere? Just speaking the truth, guys, everyone is vulnerable to these swings of the cycle of the economy, the cycle of things that are happening. And I know there's at least 2 or 3 things that are connected that are probably right under your nose that you may not even have thought about yet. Maybe some of the things we talked about tonight got the wheels turning. And I'm here just as a resource. I'm here as the chairman of our beauty industry and our entrepreneurial movement that we're creating, where you can come and you can hear terminology and learn about different ideas to get you thinking. I want, this show at night, when you go to bed, I want it to keep you up at night. I want you to be like, man, you know what? I need to think about multiple flows of income. I need to think about, what if this one flow dries up? What am I going to do? I need to start thinking about, what skills do I have? What skills do I need? What are my passions? What do I like? What do I hate? And then start tapping into those areas around that. And that's what I hope this show did for you guys tonight. Got you thinking. You know, as we hack through it, what is that? Got you thinking, got the wheels turning. So I hope you're able to take some of this information. I love to hear about it. I love to hear if you got anything, you know, leave comments, share this page, share the link with your friends on Facebook and on Twitter. Make sure if you're on Twitter, follow at PM The Salon. If you're on Facebook, you go to facebook.com/The Salon 1.0 or 1.0 as we say it. Like our page. You know, we drop nuggets on there. We drop all kinds of information on there. If you haven't got a chance to go on our website, definitely check out the website. It's www, you know the rest, right? TheSalon1, the number one that is, .net. So go on there. But I want to get some feedback. I love to see your comments. I love to see your posts. Anything that you guys share. That's what motivates me to do this. If I know, you know, somebody's getting some kind of value out of this show, it's bringing some kind of value to your life, or just get you thinking, just get your mind moving in a direction. That's the purpose of Rolling with the D, and that's the purpose of this show. So as always, guys, girls, entrepreneurs, beauty entrepreneurs, or entrepreneurs, or on the way to becoming a preneur of some sort, this is Sunny D. It's been a pleasure. We're tuning in every night. We'll be here this week, 10 p.m. You know the channel. You know the place. Share this with your friends, your family. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Thanks for joining us at our downtown, the Salon 1.0 channel side. And I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to your comments. Definitely look forward to you guys sharing any victories or questions that you have with us. Please share. We'd love to hear from you. Until we see you tomorrow night, signing off. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you then. Hey, Pat, leave it. Leave it. Oh, man. All right. Another one in the books, guys. Another one in the books. So I don't know who was on the show on Friday night, but for those of you who didn't catch the Friday night, we're doing this show after the show segment. So that's where I'm kind of recapping the show, and just we're still streaming. So if you guys are hanging out for the after the show, then I'm sorry, because we I'm just open air now, just thinking about that show, man. I'm passionate about the multiple flows, because I'm seeing like a lot of people that are literally, I mean, they thought that the plan that everyone's presented, I mean, the whole idea behind, our system is go to school, find a good job and work that job for like the next 40, 50 years of your life. And that's it. That's kind of the plan. And that used to work. But I mean, when I think about it, I'm like, well, that plan doesn't even work anymore. I'm at the grocery store, and I've got like a 65, 70-year-old guy. It's, that's bagging my groceries, and I'm like thinking, like, where was that in the plan? Like, what happened? It kills me, because I'm like, and there's nothing wrong with working, but I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, that was definitely I don't think that was part of his plan. There's just no way. And so it kind of disturbs me. And when a lot of these shows, these are topics that I literally hack for myself. I'm trying to figure them out, and I start doing I'll do the research. I'll sit down. I'll start to do, like, the way I like to do it. I like to do these note cards, and I'll start putting the note cards down. I'll start with, like, the one topic, so say it's multiple flows of income, and then I start asking why, and I'll start to come up with the whys. Like, why does someone need multiple flows of income? Oh, well, because what happens? They lose their job, or else they lose their job, or they offer you a promotion. Sometimes they offer you a promotion to give you more responsibility but no more pay, or their industry goes away. Like one of our stylists, she worked at a place. They were around, I'm not sure how long they were around, but she worked there for like 7 years, and they just disappeared. They went away. And then what happens? Like, I think about, we have the salons, like we have 3 different locations, and what happens if we had one of them in the economy or that area, or God forbid a natural disaster? What if that happens? What are you going to do? What if so diversify. Like, you need to make a living, right? That's step one, right? So you figure out, okay, whatever, but if you don't have, you're dead. You're dead in the water. If you don't have another source, you're a wrap. You're pretty much toasted. And I was looking at some of the reports, on the economy, and they're, it's funny because their numbers are all screwed up. Like, when you look at the numbers that they tell us are, they make it seem like it's getting better, but honestly, I really haven't seen it getting better. I've talked to more people now, that are either out of work. I was just talking with people tonight. Out of work, or just trying now to get into another career. And plan A and B actually was, first it was like, okay, you better have a plan B. So now we went from you better have a plan B to you better have a plan C and D. Because you pretty much, it's almost like you're guaranteed your plan A is not going to work. But I don't know. I kind of like the plan B myself. Trust me, what was my plan A? I don't even know if I had a plan. Well, I joined the Marine Corps. That's probably my plan A. And then after that, it's like, all right, well, following orders, not my strong suit. Probably should have knew that going in. There was going to be a lot of that going on in the Marines. But what was my plan B? I don't think I had one. I was kind of I was out there just waiting. I was a wanderer, and I was waiting, and praying and hoping and poking, and thinking, what am I gonna be when I grew up? I had no idea. Like, what am I going to do? But that was the fun of it, though, was like the plan B. And now, I would say I'm kind of into plan C, maybe. Because now, being a business owner, that wasn't my, going from the military to becoming a stylist, and then becoming an educator, and then going into business ownership. Maybe that's like my plan. I don't know what plan I'm on. I'm on like plan D. Rolling with the D. You're rolling with plan D. Maybe that's going to be the name of the new show. What do you think, Pat, man? Rolling with plan D. Instead of Planned Parenthood, we do plan D. Because it's seriously like plan A. What was your plan A? What was your plan A to do? You don't know what your plan A was? What plan are you on now? Dude, that's even worse. You have no plans. You gotta have some kind of plan. I mean, plan A was Marine Corps. Plan B was, well, I was in the service. I was bartending, so maybe that was plan B. Then plan C was a hairstylist. And those plans, they're not like all your plans aren't going to work out. But it's not that they don't work out, but plans change. That's the thing. You have to understand that your plans most likely will change. So sometimes like career path, it's like, okay, this is a potential like path that you might take, but that could change at any moment. I've got people that went to hair school that are like, oh, I want to be a hair colorist. Then they couldn't color hair. Or, I want to be a hair cutter, and then they couldn't cut hair, but they were really good at formulating color. So initially their first plan, it's like your plan B doesn't get implemented because your plan A failed. You might just evolve. So your plan B might be, well, I wanted to be an athlete, or I wanted to be a painter, but you stumbled into writing or singing or hanging drywall. I don't know what it is, and it just became your plan B. You got good at it, and you were okay with switching. But if you've never thought about it, like if I never thought about like what would happen if I failed in the salon owning business, I'd be an idiot. You have to think about it. You have to think about the what if. And that's the thing, like, I don't think a lot of people want to think about failure, but, it's okay to think about it. Because in there, that's where you can start to, like, you'll start to uncover, like, inside of the possibility of failure, then you're like, well, I would do this, then I would do that. Like it's interesting because you'll find there's some other stuff. Like for me, like, doing like the motivational kind of thing and, speaking to people about that and trying to pull out the greatness from within people. Like this is like probably, actually, I don't even... If this is D, maybe it's plan E. I don't even know. I might be on plan F. I mean, because it's totally evolving. Even like going to hair school, all I thought about was cutting hair. I didn't think about doing a live show talking about entrepreneurship. I could have never like when I went to hair school, like I never was like, yeah, I'm going to go to hair school so I can do this live show talking about entrepreneurship, talking about hacking, uncovering, getting to the, hacking through these different... What? Wait a minute. Wait, does that even go together? Like, does that even... Like, when you go to like, when you went to computer, programming school, or you went to accounting school, or you went to, I don't know, whatever school you went to, did it ever translate? Like, did you ever think, oh yeah, I could see naturally how me going to accounting school is going to lead to me become a hairstylist, to me doing a live broadcast show, to me, speaking or writing a book about entrepreneurship or any of that crap. I mean, you would have, if you'd said that to me, I would have said you're an idiot. Like, bottom line. Like, if you had brought that to me, like, yeah, you should go to hair school because it might lead to you becoming a motivational or inspirational speaker to young entrepreneurs or some kind of preneurs. And, yeah, I could see the owning the salons. Like, that's obvious. If you go to hair school, potentially you become a salon owner. I could see that. But a lot of this other stuff, it's like these kind of plan B, C, and D. I don't even know. It just kind of happened, and you go with it. It feels right. That's the thing. A lot of people they're so set because of the way that it was presented. Like, go to school, do the job, boom. They got it like this picture in their head, like white picket fence, 2.5 kids, dog house, done. Life's over. Like they try. It's like it's predictable. That's why you know it's probably not going to happen. It's a different time. It's just a different time. We're in a different space, a different place. It's just that's just not the way it's happening anymore. Like, so you have to be nimble. You have to be, what's the nursery? Was it Jack be nimble, Jack be quick? Jack jumped over the candlestick, something like that, right? Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. That's like, those are like words that I'm thinking about. You got to be nimble and quick. you gotta have that kind of, that open-minded, that like, and that's what I was hoping people, like tonight, if they're watching the show, I mean, I'm hoping people get that, like, be like open to entire sector shifts. Like, you might start out as a dancer and think like your next step is becoming a choreographer, and then you end up producing a movie. Like, that's subtle. I could see it happening. But how about this? You start out a dancer, then you become a choreographer. Then what? You become an investment banker. Like, you'd be like, what? But maybe in that whole process, like, you've just kicked ass in numbers. Like, you were like a freaking like Rain Man, and you weren't open-minded enough. Like, like me, I'm a Marine. I'm carrying a rifle. Like, I'm being trained how to kill people, shoot them dead. I'm in the Marine Corps infantry. If I wasn't open-minded, do you think I would have ever started playing with, cutting girls' hair and cutting, scissor? Like, are you serious? Like, you do what? There's no way. Completely different sectors. So, I don't know, man. It's got to be open-minded. So I don't know if if you guys are listening or you're watching this, the show officially ends, and then we just started doing this. It's like this little after show. It's the show after the show. It's just kind of open air, what I was hoping to get across in the show. So I want to archive it, because I found that what I was doing after the show, as I was talking about the show, hopefully this message was that clear, and I'll ping pong stuff, or I'll talk to Pat Man. He's our executive producer. You guys don't really see him. He's behind the scenes, controlling the switchboard, looking at comments, that kind of stuff. But I'll usually, on a ride from the studio, I'll be just kind of almost just like vomiting some of the stuff, or like, how did this go, whatever. So I just decided, like, I wanted to start recording just open air. I'm just talking to the air, or talking on the air. So if you guys are on, that's kind of what's happening here. It's not a second show, but all these extra takes, maybe they'll become a show. I'm not sure. We have a lot of ideas, but it's just like, diversify. Like, even with this, it's like, what's next? We have to be thinking about that, like, all the time. Like Smith Corona, they made the typewriter. They thought, well, let's make the keys smaller. Let's make the ribbon of ink, hold more ink. No, totally different. totally different. You know, be open-minded to the possibility that people may never want to use a typewriter, but they still need to record messages. How would you do that? Come on, think. You know, innovate. So we're trying to be. We're trying to like innovate a little bit here around the beauty industry and beyond. You know, some of the people there, they're not even in the beauty industry, which is kind of cool. I mean, I want this to be, you know, it's from a hairstylist perspective of the subject of entrepreneurship, but it might even go beyond. I mean, yeah, I'm a hairstylist by trade, but I'm an entrepreneur first, I guess. Or I'm a hairstylist by trade, but I'm an entrepreneur by heart, I think, because I think it's really the heart of it. The entrepreneur is like, there's a heart of it, you know what I mean? There's like it's like a heart, you know. It's not, you never, I think, will ever be able to draw a picture of an entrepreneur. That's why I was Arby created an entrepreneur. Like, that's not what an entrepreneur looks like. An entrepreneur is not always luck. You know, it's not like, oh, let me pop on a fedora and grow a freaking chin hair like that. That's because I want to be Sunny entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is not a look. You can't. It's a feeling. It's like a heart. It's like a brain. I mean, you don't see it. You just know it when you feel it. You know, like if I was blind and I started feeling somebody's body and I started feeling this little ba-bum, ba-bum. I'm like, oh, what is that? Oh, that's a heart. That's an entrepreneur. You can't see it. You know? You feel it. So the words, they're coming from an entrepreneur. They're not coming from, you know, this guy, Sunny D, rolling with the D, but it's the message. It's not the messenger. Like, I am not, like, this is not the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur is the feeling, man. So I hope people are feeling it. I mean, I know people are watching it, but, you know, I hope they're listening more so. Like, you know, maybe on the podcast too. Start making sure we share the links to the podcast. Make sure we're directing people to the website. So on the website, you know, they can see Rolling with the D podcast, Rolling with the D live show, and I think we even have the clips on there too. All of the beginnings of it all, the little YouTube clips. I think all those are on there too. I just hope people are, you know, as people are coming into the Rolling with the D world, I hope they're catching the feeling. You know what I mean? I hope they're feeling it. I hope they're listening. Maybe they don't even need to. Sometimes maybe we'll just like black out. You know what? We'll just black out this after show and just make it an audio. I don't know. I don't even know if I already signed off, so I don't know how many people are still listening to the after show, the little rant. How many viewers are still on there? Wow, you guys either got no life or you just like hearing me off the cuff. I don't know what it is, but I appreciate you guys. It's been real. Go to bed, get some sleep. We're gonna go home. I'm good, but I love it, man. I wanna be able to capture that, you know, the essence of what we're trying to do here. I want to be able to, you know, I want to be able to move people to do something. You know, I'm tired of, like, people come to, you know, they come to a class, they come to a training, they go home and nothing changes. You know, they read a book, they go back to their monotony, and nothing changes. And that, I mean, that pisses me off because I want to see people like do something. Like I want to, like, you know what I wait for? Like that message that comes in and it's like, hey, you know, I did this because of you something you said, or it just inspired me to try this, or I wrote down that, or, you know, I implemented something. I mean, that'll make it worth it. If I get one of those, I mean, I'll keep doing the show. We won't pull the plug on it. We got one season, so we're gonna. How many episodes are we gonna do? Like, we'll consider one season 30 episodes. So 30 episodes, and we'll pull the plug on it if we don't change one life. So somebody, hey, if you care about the other viewers and you're watching this, your life better change, or the show is going off the air. You know, it's probably not true, but scare you anyway. But make it count, guys. Make it count. You know, we're here for a minute, and I want, like, I know, like, my team, like, I want them to have everything that they ever wanted. Like, we create those goal statements, like, to get everything on that goal list. Like, to me, that would be so, like, I mean, for me, it would be just, like, the ultimate, like, reward that I just see them, like, hitting it. Like, bam. You know, when people, and even, like, you know, they get to one or two of those things, it's like, that's it, man. It's what people need. I mean, they need belief, but they also need a believer. You know, so that's it. The entrepreneur is the heart. You know, it's the belief. You know, when you look at those great ones, I mean, you're Steve Jobs of the world. You know, Johnny Ive that worked for Steve Jobs. I mean, the Bill Gates that were just creating, Elon Musk, I mean, the Tesla, SpaceX, the guy's like, we're putting somebody on Mars, and people are like, yeah, right, but now they're launching freaking rocket ships. I mean, it's like, we're going to change lives with this. You know, we're going to be getting, you know, we're going to be, you know, doing a little, not necessarily a heart transplant, but, you know, the heart's been beating, but the blood's not moving. We want to get that blood flow. And I think that's what Rolling with a D will be. It'll almost be like, let's get that blood flowing. Get it to all the organs because it's sleeping. You know, your passion organ, wherever that lives, maybe it's not getting blood. Maybe there's not enough circulation going on. So hopefully we can use this show for that. We can use it as a vehicle to get the blood flowing. Maybe to the brain, you know, to the feet, wherever it needs to go. Maybe it's to the feet because, you know, some people, you got to go somewhere, right? So you got to get on the move. You know, rolling with the D, you know, you got to move those feet. You got to get them moving. Or else we just cancel the show. That's it. 30 episodes and we're done. Cool. That was fun. It's a good show. So tomorrow night, let's pull the plug. It's been real, guys. Just do it. Don't talk about it. Just do it. That's all. Just do it. It's in the books. You hit stop.